Oversized bedrooms were not a luxury to past generations. They were, well, a liability. Long before central heating, insulation standards, and cheap energy, folks understood winter at a structural level. They built, furnished, and occupied spaces with cold in mind, not comfort marketing. Grandparents did not avoid large bedrooms out of superstition or habit. They avoided them because large volumes of cold air could kill you slowly, quietly, and expensively. This was learned knowledge, refined across centuries of winters, fuel shortages, wars, and economic hardship. Winter living was about controlling air, not decorating space. Cold does not attack people directly. It drains heat through air movement, surface area, and exposure time. Smaller bedrooms reduced all three. A compact room traps less cold air, warms faster from body heat, and allows walls to radiate warmth back toward the sleeper instead of absorbing it endlessly. Grandparents understood that heating a bedroom was not about warming the entire house. It was about creating a survivable microclimate for 8 hours of immobility. If you lived in a rural home, a tenement, or a pre-war townhouse, the bedroom was often the smallest enclosed space in the house. This was deliberate. Bedrooms were not social spaces, they were thermal shelters. Fuel scarcity dictated bedroom size more than architecture. Coal, wood, peat, dung, and later briquettes were finite resources. Every additional cubic meter of bedroom air required fuel to warm it. Large rooms bled heat upward and outward. Heat rose into unused ceiling space and leaked through poorly sealed walls. Smaller rooms conserved fuel and allowed families to bank fires downstairs rather than waste precious fuel upstairs. During wartime rationing, fuel deliveries were pretty unpredictable. A household that slept in a large bedroom risked waking up to frost on the inside walls. Sleeping in a compact room meant a single hot water bottle, or maybe a brick warmed by the hearth, or even just retained body heat could make the difference between getting some rest and falling ill. Modern viewers, often underestimate just how dangerous cold bedrooms really were. Hypothermia didn't require actual freezing temperatures. Just being exposed to damp, cold air for a long time could weaken immune systems, make respiratory disease worse, and turn even minor infections into something fatal. Heat retention, honestly, mattered a whole lot more than daytime comfort. Grandparents treated night as the most dangerous part of winter. Movement stopped, fires died down, the body's metabolism slowed. That's why sleeping spaces were intentionally tight, enclosed, and layered with furniture, textiles, and heavy curtains. Large bedrooms were harder to seal, Drafts crept in through windows, doors, and floorboards. A smaller room could be sealed with rolled rugs, cloth draft blockers, and thick curtains. In many homes, wardrobes were placed against external walls, not for storage convenience, but as insulation. Beds were positioned away from exterior walls whenever possible. This knowledge applies today. Anyone preparing for grid failure or fuel disruption should understand that heating a sleeping space is more critical than heating living areas. A modern prepper can use this by choosing the smallest interior room for winter sleeping, sealing unused doors, lowering ceilings with temporary fabric barriers, and concentrating insulation where the body remains stationary the longest. Oversized rooms stayed cold longer and accumulated damp air. Condensation formed on walls, soaking plaster and encouraging mold. This aggravated coughs, rheumatism, and lung disease. Grandparents did not talk about mold spores, but they understood bad air. Smaller rooms dried faster and could be aired briefly without losing all retained warmth. During influenza outbreaks, tuberculosis eras, and post-war winters, keeping the body warm at night was considered a defensive measure. A cold bedroom was seen as reckless. That is why families often slept multiple people in one room during winter, not out of poverty alone, but out of thermal logic. Modern survivalists can apply this by prioritizing nighttime warmth over daytime aesthetics. A spare bedroom converted into a compact winter sleeping zone with heavy drapes, layered bedding, and reduced airflow is more effective than heating a large master bedroom poorly. Bedroom scale reflected long-term thinking, not short-term comfort. Oversized bedrooms became popular only when cheap energy removed consequences. Central heating masked inefficiencies, but grandparents designed for worst-case scenarios. They assumed fuel shortages, illness, and extreme cold would happen again because they always had. Their bedrooms were built for resilience. Lower ceilings, smaller footprints, inward-facing layouts, and proximity to chimneys were all intentional. In many older homes, the warmest bedroom was directly above the kitchen or main hearth, not the largest. For modern viewers studying historical resilience, this is a reminder that scale matters. Smaller, well-controlled spaces outperform larger, poorly managed ones under stress. This principle applies to shelters, cabins, and emergency housing just as much as it did to winter bedrooms. You do not need to live like it is 1939 to benefit from this lesson. The principle is simple. Heat what you occupy. Shrink the space at night. Reduce air volume. Control drafts. Retain heat where the body rests. In a power outage, move sleeping arrangements into a smaller interior room. Use furniture and curtains to reduce exposed wall space. Layer bedding aggressively rather than heating air wastefully. Treat the bedroom as a thermal system, not a lifestyle statement. Grandparents survived winters not because they were tougher, but because they were smarter with space. Oversized bedrooms were abandoned for the same reason oversized fires were avoided. They consumed resources without delivering proportional benefit. If this kind of grounded historical knowledge matters to you, subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles, share this with fellow history and preparedness enthusiasts, and keep these lessons alive before they're forgotten again.